when somebody
say he beat ho up, he'll beat one night hoes up for me talk me. I hate saying that he beat me up. You think I'm beating me up. Cassie is suing Diddy for $30 million, accusing him of repeated physical abuse and trafficking. The lawsuit alleges that throughout the span of their relationship, Cassie was abused and controlled, that Diddy used to ply her with drugs, repeatedly beat her to a savage degree, and force her to have sex with male prostitutes. As he watched and recorded, thought that he was going to get away free by settling with Cassie outside of court. Well, he better think again, because Young Miami is now speaking up against him as well, and Girl Miami is out for blood. She came out and brought receipts to expose Diddy for putting paws on her. And it looks like she is determined to take Diddy down for good. In the beginning, like the first 3.5 years. He was, like the first 4 months, he was really nice. But then after that, he started being so, like I say, like the first 3.5 years. He was like mean to me. So when you say mean, describe it. He was abusive. He was like always belittling me. And always like he was like mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me. So it looks like Young Miami is finally breaking her silence regarding Diddy's insane situation with Cassie, and y'all won't believe the crazy thing she is now saying about Diddy. Ever since Cassie came out to tell her story and file her explosive lawsuit against Diddy, the higher internet has been dragging Young Miami and wondering why she hasn't said anything regarding this. I think a lot of people expected her to come out and call Cassie out for lying or something like that, because we all know how much Miami rides for Diddy. But it looks like the reverse is the case here, because it looks like Diddy has allegedly been putting paws on Miami as well. Now this shouldn't be surprising, because from the allegations that Cassie made out in her lawsuit, child Diddy doesn't seem like a great guy after all. In her lawsuit, Cassie had a lot of insane allegations. And for y'all to know how bad it is, the very front page of the court documents has a trigger warning, child. I ain't never seen no trigger warning on court documents before. And that just shows how insane the case is now. People have been giving Diddy and his relationships the side eye for a while now, because there's a lot of things that don't add up, especially the fact that he keeps going after women who he has a lot of control over. And that's what makes this situation with Cassie super shady. For one, Cassie was only 19, and he was 37 when they started dating. And as if that wasn't creepy enough, she was also signed to his record label, Bad Boy Records. And there was just a huge power imbalance in the relationship from the very start. But according to Cassie's lawsuit, the issues in the relationship went way further than a power imbalance, because Diddy frequently put paw on her. The lawsuit also alleged that he essayed Miss Ventura in her own home after she tried to leave him, often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped on Miss Ventura, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding, forced Miss Ventura to engage in intimate acts with Sus. While getting off on it and filming the encounters, demanded that Miss Ventura to carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and introduced Miss Ventura to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance abuse, and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addiction. If you think that's bad, well, it gets worse, because Cassie went into great detail about the terror she lived while she was in the relationship. And it's really heartbreaking. What makes it even worse is the fact that the lawsuit claimed that Diddy didn't hide his mistreatment of Cassie from everyone around them. She claimed that a lot of people witnessed this, but there was nothing that they could do to help, because they were also scared of Diddy. The court document said these beatings were witnessed by Mr. Combs' staff and employees of Bad Boy Entertainment, and Mr. Combs related businesses, but no one dared to speak up against their frightening and ferocious boss. Now, I know that some of y'all just love blaming the victim and asking questions like, well, why didn't she leave? Or say some type of stuff like she was enjoying the attention money and all that stuff. But I'm going to stop you right there and tell you that she did try to leave on multiple occasions. But Diddy wasn't about to just let her go so easily. And he kept going after her and sending people to threaten her until she came back to him. He even had people at the label call her to warn her about how Diddy was going to ruin her in her career if she didn't come back to him, and how he would make sure that nobody in Hollywood ever worked with her again. And when she eventually went back, he made sure to punish her for leaving him in the first place. She also claimed that he often hit her so hard that he left bruises and welts on her face and body, so he would send her to a hotel or on a fancy vacation to recover in private. And going by this old picture that fans dug up, she clearly wasn't lying about it. Rapper Aaliyah Banks also came out to back this up, and she said this is true. One time, Diddy beat her up so bad he sent her on a 3-week vacation to Hawaii, just so no one would see or question how her face got like that. But that was still not all, because Cassie also revealed how Diddy used to trick her into taking drugs. She revealed that he would manipulate her into taking the drugs. Even though she didn't want to, she also claimed that he was addicted to pain pills. And whenever his legal supply of pain pills ran out, he would force her to help him score more pills. She then went on to reveal just how obsessed he was with making sure that she was under his control. At all times, he allegedly forced her to move out of her apartment in LA to another apartment closer to Vizsla Mansion that he rented for her. He also rented another apartment for her in Manhattan, close to his New York mansion. Now, he didn't do all this because he was trying to be good for Santa. He was just trying to keep her under his control and make sure she was under his control at all times. And speaking of control, Diddy control over Cassie went so deep that he had access to her medical records when she didn't even have access to the court documents. Said on multiple occasions, Mr. Combs had Miss Venture personal medical records sent directly to his email address. For instance, when Miss Ventura began experiencing memory loss, potentially due to excessive drug use, and her head injuries caused by Mr. Combs' beatings, as described below, her MRI results were provided directly to Mr. Combs. That's crazy. Because can you imagine how hard she had it to the point where she was losing her memory? Well, you'll don't got to imagine, because the court documents listed some examples. And y'all, it was really bad. The lawsuit talked about a couple of times where he put paw on her, like the time they were on their way home after attending a party with Jay-Z. Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura repeatedly in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He forced her out of the vehicle on 5th Avenue in New York City. She was eventually able to hail a cab and get to her apartment in Manhattan. There's also the time when Cassie spoke to a music manager in hopes of furthering her career. It was nothing serious, just a casual conversation in the club. But Diddy got so mad that when they left the club, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura, pushing her into a corner of the vehicle and stomping on her face. When the car arrived at Mr. Combs' residence, Miss Ventura attempted to run away, but Mr. Combs followed her and proceeded to again kick her in the face. Miss Ventura was bleeding profusely and was ushered into Mr. Combs' home, where she began to throw up from the violent incident. This just makes my heart break for her, because she didn't deserve to be treated like that. Nobody deserves that. And somehow that's still not all, because she also revealed that he forced her to partake in what he referred to as freak-offs. Basically, he would force her to hire male escorts from websites and force her to be intimate with them while he watched and got off from it. The lawsuit claimed that Cassie didn't want to partake in the fuss, but Diddy would give her drugs until her resistance basically banished. Mr. Combs always supplied Miss Ventura with copious amounts of drugs before and during the foes. Miss Ventura was given ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and alcohol in excessive amounts during foes, which allowed her to disassociate during those horrific encounters it became commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after info to recover from the excessive substances pushed upon him. And when Cassie finally managed to get away from him for a bit and started dating Kid Cy, the court document said that Combs told Miss Venter that he was going to blow up Kid C's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cy was home with his friends. When it happened around that time, Kid C's car exploded in his driveway. She was literally living in a real-life horror movie. And when she finally managed to break away from him for good, she claimed that Diddy forced his way into her apartment and said her repeatedly. The crazy part about this is that when she finally left him for good in 2018, he posted a screenshot of Michael Jackson's song, "The Lady in My Life," and captioned it, "If anyone sees Cassie this weekend, please tell her to listen to this song 100 times, girl. It's the audacity for me. The only good part about this is that Cassie has a good ending because she got married to a man who seems to love her inside." And out it also explains why she got so emotional after he ran a 50 meters marathon for DV victims can't.